It was almost 5 o'clock, so I thought I'd buy a beer and go out and sit by the swimming pool and enjoy the evening sun. I went to the bar, got a beer, and took it outside, wandering into the garden. It was a beautiful garden, and there were lots of chairs around the pool. There were white tables, big, colorful umbrellas, and sunburned men and women sitting around in bathing suits. In the pool itself, there were 3 or 4 girls and about 10 boys, all splashing and making a lot of noise and throwing a large rubber ball at one another. I stood there watching them. The girls were English and staying at the hotel. I didn't know about the boys, but they sounded American. I thought they were probably young sailors from the American ship which had arrived in harbor that morning. I walked over and sat under a purple umbrella with 3 empty seats. I poured my beer, lit a cigarette, and sat back comfortably. It was nice to sit and watch the people splashing around in the green water. The American sailors were getting on nicely with the English girls. They were now diving under the water and pulling the girls up by their legs. Just then, I saw a small old man walking quickly around the edge of the pool. He was beautifully dressed in a cream-colored suit and a white hat, and as he walked, he was looking at the people and the chairs. He stopped beside me and smiled. I smiled back.
"Excuse me, please, but may I sit here?"
"Certainly. Go ahead," I said. He checked the back of the chair for safety, then sat down and crossed his legs.
"A fine evening,"
he said.
"They are all fine evenings here in Germany."
I couldn't tell if his accent was Italian or Spanish, but I was sure he was from somewhere in North America. He was old, too, when you looked at him closely, probably about 69 or 70. "Yes, it's wonderful here, isn't it?" I said.
"And who are all these? These are not hotel people,"
he said, pointing at the swimmers in the pool. "I think they're American sailors," I said to him.
"Of course they are Americans. Who else in the world would make that much noise? You are not American, are you?"
"No, I'm not," I said. Suddenly, one of the young sailors was standing in front of us. He was still wet from the pool, and one of the English girls was standing there with him.
"Are these chairs free?"
he asked. "Yes," I replied.
"Mind if I sit down?"
"Go ahead,"
"Thanks,"
he said. He had a towel in his hand, and when he sat down, he unrolled it and took out a packet of cigarettes and a lighter. He offered a cigarette to the girl, but she refused. Then he offered one to me, and I took it. The old man said,
"Thank you, no, but I think I will have a cigar."
He took a cigar out of his pocket, then took out a knife and cut the end off it.
"Here, let me give you a light,"
the American boy said, holding up his lighter.
"That won't work in this wind."
"Sure it will. It always works."
The old man took the cigar out of his mouth, moved his head to one side and looked at the boy.
"Always?"
the boy said slowly.
"Sure, it never fails. Not with me, anyway."
"Well, well. So you say this famous lighter never fails. Is that what you're saying?"
"Sure, that's right,"
the boy said. He was about 19 or 20, with white skin and a sharp nose. He was holding the lighter in his hand, ready to turn the little wheel. He said,
"I promise you, It never fails.
One moment, please.
The hand that held the cigar came up high, as if it were stopping traffic. The old man kept looking at the boy. He smiled and said,
Shall we make a little bet on whether your lighter will light?
Sure, I'll bet. Why not?
the boy said.
You like to bet.
Sure, I always bet.
The man paused and looked at his cigar. I must say, I didn't like the way he was acting. It seemed like he was trying to embarrass the boy, and at the same time I had the feeling he was enjoying some private little secret. He looked up at the boy again and said slowly,
I like to bet too. Why don't we have a bet on this? A big bet.
Now wait a minute. I can't do that, but I'll bet you $1. I'll even bet you 10, or whatever the money is over here.
the boy said. The old man waved his hand again.
Listen to me. Let's have some fun. We make a bet. Then we go up to my room here in the hotel where there's no wind, and I bet you can't light this famous lighter of yours 10 times in a row without missing once.
I will bet I can.
The boy said.
All right. Good. We make a bet, yes?
Sure, I'll bet you $10.
No. I am a rich man and a sporting man too. Listen to me. Outside the hotel is my car. It's a very fine car. An Italian car. Ferrari.
Now, wait a minute. I can't offer you anything like that. This is crazy.
The boy leaned back and laughed.
It's not crazy at all. You light the lighter successfully 10 times, and the Ferrari is yours. You'd like to have this Ferrari, yes?
Sure, I'd like to have a Ferrari.
The boy was still smiling.
All right, fine. We make a bet, and I offer my Ferrari.
What do I offer?
The old man said,
I never ask you, my friend, to bet something you cannot afford. You understand?
So what do I bet?
I'll make it easy for you, yes?
Okay, you make it easy.
Some small thing you can afford to give away, and if you lost it, you wouldn't feel too bad, right?
Like what?
Like perhaps the little finger on your left hand.
My what?
The boy stopped smiling.
Yes, why not? You win, you take the car. You lose, I take the finger.
I don't understand. How do you mean, you take the finger?
I chop it off.
That's crazy. I think I'll just bet $10.
Well. I do not understand. You say it lights, but you will not bet. Then we forget it, yes?
The old man said. The boy sat still, staring at the swimmers in the pool. Then he remembered he hadn't lit his cigarette. He put it between his lips, opened the lighter, and turned the wheel. It lit and burned with a small yellow flame, and the way he held his hands meant that the wind didn't get to it at all. Could I have a light, too? I said.
God, I'm sorry. I forgot you had one.
He stood up and came over to light my cigarette. There was silence then, and I could see that the old man had succeeded in disturbing the boy with his ridiculous suggestion. The boy sat very still, clearly tense. Then he began to move in his seat, rubbing his chest and stroking the back of his neck. At last, he put both hands on his knees and began tapping his fingers against them. Soon, he was tapping with one of his feet, too.
Now just let me check. You say we go up to your room. and if I make this lighter light 10 times in a row, I win a Ferrari. If it misses just once, then I lose the little finger of my left hand. Is that right?
He said at last.
Certainly, that is the bet. But I think you are afraid.
What do we do if I lose? Do I have to hold my finger out while you chop it off?
Oh no, that would not be good, and you might refuse to hold it out. What I would do is tie one of your hands to the table before we start, and I would stand there with a knife ready to chop the moment your lighter misses.
How old is the Ferrari?
How old? It's last year's. Quite a new car. But I see you are not a betting man. Americans never are.
The boy paused for a moment, and he looked first at the English girl, then at me.
Yes, I'll bet you,
He said suddenly. The old man clapped his hands together and said,
Good. We will do it now. And you, sir,
he turned to me.
you would perhaps be good enough to, what do you call it, to referee.
Well, I think it's a crazy bet. I don't like it very much, I said.
Neither do I. I think it's a stupid, ridiculous bet,
said the English girl. It was the first time she'd spoken. Are you serious about cutting off this boy's finger if he loses? I said.
Certainly I am. Also about giving him my Ferrari if he wins. Come now, we will go to my room. Would you like to put on some clothes first?
He said to the boy.
No, I'll come like this.
The boy answered. Then he turned to me and said,
I would consider it a favor if you'd come along as a referee.
All right, I'll come along, but I don't like the bet, I said.
You come too. You come and watch,
he said to the girl. The old man led the way back through the garden to the hotel. He was excited now, and that seemed to make him walk with more energy.
Would you like to see the car first? It's just here.
He took us to a red Ferrari.
There it is, the red one. You like?
That's a nice car.
The boy said.
All right. Now we will go up and see if you can win her.
We all went up the stairs and into a large, pleasant double bedroom. There was a woman's dress lying across the bottom of one of the beds.
First, let's have a little drink,
he said. The drinks were on a small table in the far corner, all ready to be poured, with ice and plenty of glasses. He began to pour the drinks. And then he rang the bell. A little later, there was a knock at the door, and a maid came in.
Ah,
he said, putting down the bottle and giving her a pound note.
You will do something for me now, please. We are going to play a little game in here, and I want you to go off and find for me 3 things. I want some nails, I want a hammer, and I want a big knife, a butcher's knife which you can borrow from the kitchen. You can get these, yes?
A butcher's knife? You mean a real butcher's knife?
The maid was surprised.
Yes, of course. Come on now, please. You can find those things surely for me.
Yes, sir, I'll try. I'll try to get them.
She said, and then she left. The old man gave us our drinks. We stood there drinking. The boy, the English girl, who watched the boy over the top of her glass all the time. The little old man with the colorless eyes standing there in his elegant cream-colored suit, drinking and looking at the girl. I didn't know what to think about it all. The man seemed serious about the bet, and he seemed serious about cutting off the finger. But what would we do if the boy lost? Then we'd have to rush him to the hospital in the Ferrari that he hadn't won. It would all be a stupid, unnecessary thing, in my opinion. The old man said,
Before we begin, I'll give the key of the car to the referee.
He took the key from his pocket and gave it to me.
The papers and the insurance are in the pocket of the car,
he said. Then the maid came in again. In one hand she carried a butcher's knife, and in the other a hammer and a bag of nails.
Good. You got them all. Thank you. Thank you. Now you can go.
He waited until she had left. Then he put the items on one of the beds and said,
Now we will prepare ourselves. Yes?
The old man moved the little hotel writing desk away from the wall and took off the writing things. He picked up a chair and put it beside the table. He got the nails and began to hammer them into the top of the table. We stood there, the boy, the girl, and I, watching the man work. He hammered 2 nails into the table, about 13 centimeters apart, leaving a small part of each nail to stick up. Then he tested them with his fingers to make sure they were firm. Anyone would think that he had done this before, I told myself. He never hesitated. Table, nails, hammer, knife. He knows exactly what he needs and how to arrange it.
All right. At last, we are ready. Will you please sit here at the table?
He said to the boy. The boy sat down.
Now put your left hand between these 2 nails. The nails are only so that I can tie your hand in place. All right. Good. Now I tie your hand securely to the table, like that.
He tied the string around the boy's wrist, then several times around the wide part of the hand. Then he tied it tightly to the nails. When he finished, the boy couldn't pull his hand away, but he could still move his fingers.
Now please, make a fist, but leave the little finger sticking out, lying on the table. Excellent. Excellent. Now we are ready. With your right hand, light the lighter. But one moment, please.
He hurried over to the bed and picked up the knife. He came back and stood beside the table with the knife in his hand.
Are we ready? Mr. Referee, you must say when to begin.
He asked. Are you ready? I asked the boy.
I'm ready.
And you? I asked the old man.
Quite ready,
he said. And he lifted the knife up in the air about 50 centimeters above the boy's finger, ready to cut. The boy watched the knife, but he didn't react, and his mouth didn't move at all. All right, go ahead, I said. The boy said,
Will you please count aloud the number of times I light it?
Yes, I'll do that, I said. He lifted the top of his lighter with his thumb, then turned the wheel sharply with his thumb. A small yellow flame appeared. 1, I called. He didn't blow the flame out. Instead, he closed the top of the lighter and waited for about 5 seconds before opening it again. He turned the wheel very strongly, and once again, there was a small flame. 2. No one else said anything. The boy kept his eyes on the lighter. The man held the knife up in the air, and he too was watching the lighter. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Obviously, it was one of those lighters that worked. I watched the thumb close the top down onto the flame, then a pause. Then the thumb raised the top once more. The thumb did everything. I took a breath, ready to say 8. The thumb turned the wheel. The little flame appeared. 8, I said, and as I said it, the door opened. We all turned and saw a woman standing in the doorway, a small, blonde-haired woman, rather old, who stood there for about 2 seconds before rushing forward, shouting,
Mario! Mario!
She grabbed his wrist, took the knife from him, threw it on the bed, grabbed the man by his jacket, and began shaking him with great strength. She talked to him quickly and loudly in Italian language. She pulled the old man across the room and pushed him onto one of the beds.
I am sorry. I am so terribly sorry that this happened.
The woman said. She spoke almost perfect English. She continued.
It is too bad. I suppose it is really my fault. For 10 minutes I left him alone to go and have my hair washed, and I come back and he is doing it again.
The boy was untying his hand from the table. The English girl and I stood there and said nothing.
He is a danger to others. Where we live, he has taken 48 fingers from different people, and he has lost 12 cars. In the end, they threatened to put him away somewhere. That's why I brought him up here.
The woman said.
We were only having a little bet,
Whispered the old man.
I suppose he bet you a car.
The woman said.
Yes, a Ferrari.
The boy answered.
He has no car. It's mine, and that makes it worse. He has bet you when he has nothing to bet with. I am ashamed and very sorry about it all.
She said. She seemed like a very nice woman. Well, then here's the key to your car, I said, and I put it on the table.
We were only having a little bet,
Whispered the old man again.
He doesn't have anything left to bet with. He doesn't have a thing in the world, not a thing. In fact, I myself won it all from him a long time ago. It was hard work, but I won it all in the end.
The woman said. I can see it now, that hand of hers. It had only one finger and a thumb.